stay. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Good morning. Just doing a little bit of sharing. I know Ingrid's already on. All right. Yeah, we're making. You probably noticed that we're making a couple of moves. My group shuts down tomorrow. But I was talking to a friend, my friend Patricia, the other day, and I was telling her I don't want to leave all my people high and dry. So, what she did is she made me an admin in her group so that I could post my video straight to the group. It doesn't need to be approved or anything. You guys are also going to get all the same information that we put in my group. It's just, why not combine forces? Not only that, but she's better at running the groups than me. So there it is, right? Maybe Ingrid isn't on yet. Hello. Good afternoon. Let me send a quick message. I did start this a little early. I actually started it 2 minutes early. So I'm just going to let... There we go. Okay. I should let Katie know too. All right. Okay, I've let people know. Today, hi Gary. I'm gonna figure out who this is. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now she knows. Okay. Yeah. And no, this isn't me talking about other things. This is from the Daily Reflection. So I am going to be sticking to topic. So yeah, great. I'm a little bit off today, and that's okay. I'm off in a good way. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're wondering who Ed Kowalczyk is, he was the lead singer of Live. Ingrid made it. We can get started. All right. Of course, if you're here, please say hello. All right. And if there's anybody else that needs a reminder or something that I'm going live, let me know. I don't mind sending out real quick. I'm going live. I do it for Ingrid. I do it for Katie. Until we can get this more fluid, more like, but there are going to be some change. Hopefully there's going to be some changes coming up. Patricia said that she wants to start doing her videos too. So I was thinking maybe Patricia could do some of them. So we'd have a couple of different hosts. Would that be? I think that would be pretty cool. I love Patricia. She's been a good friend of mine for a while. And when it comes to getting things done, when her and I do stuff, we rock, man. We do. We get along very, very well. So I'm glad that I have Patricia back. She needed to take a little time for herself, which is okay. There she is. Hi, Patricia. I was just talking about you. I was letting people know that a lot of stuff is switching over to the Stay Sober site, and that you had to take a little bit of time, but you are back, and that and hopefully everybody's kind of been joining your group. I can tell you now the main people have. So no, thank you, Patricia, for having a place for I don't want to say for my people to go because they're not for us to go. There we go. That's the way that we could talk about it. So today we're talking principles, not personalities, and I'm going to be reading out of Language of the Heart, page 37. Okay. And I tried to put it in the announcement, but I like the big letters so people can see it. So I tried to put the page number in there, but then it made it to the small font. And since it doesn't let you edit shit, it probably does, and I just don't know how. So, page 37. Who is a member of Alcoholics Anonymous? Is the name of the grapevine. So, what these are, the Language of the Heart, are grapevine writings by Bill W. They're all the grapevine writings that he did. He no longer writes in the grapevine. He's dead. Told you I'm in a weird mood. So I'm probably going to be doing some jumping around here. It is 3 pages, small font. So, but let's go ahead and get started on this. You know what? The thing is, I'm just going to get rid of that graphic because I can never, ever see this top one. There we go. It's on my need to purchase list. Oh, sweet. It's a fantastic book to have handy. It is. I haven't sat down and read through it, but all right. Who is a member of Alcoholics Anonymous? August 1946. The first edition of the book Alcoholics Anonymous makes this brief statement about membership. The only requirement for membership is an honest desire to stop drinking. Problem with that line is we've cut out about 95% of the people who are willing to take this road, but we've just cut out a bunch of them. Okay. We are not allied with any particular faith, sect, or denomination, nor do we oppose anyone. We simply wish to be helpful to those who are afflicted. That was our first, what do you call it? I forget. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Preamble. Since that day, all kinds of experiments with membership have been tried. The number of membership rules which have been made and mostly broken are legion. I like how it was said, and mostly broken. 2 or 3 years ago, the central office asked the groups to list their membership rules and send them in. After they arrived, we set them all down. They took a great many sheets of paper. A little reflection upon these many rules brought us to an astonishing conclusion. If all these edicts had been enforced everywhere at once, it would have been practically impossible for any alcoholic to have ever joined Alcoholics Anonymous. About 9/10 of our oldest and best members could not have got by. So, yeah, my number's right. Cool. In some case, we would have been too discouraged by the demands made upon us. See, if we have all these demands, we are not going to be able to do what we do best. Meet people where they are at. How many of us had an honest desire to quit drinking when we first got here? None. Because we didn't know how to be honest yet. Okay, so that's okay. It's okay. Let me know. I'm going to let you know what we are at that point. We're as honest as we can be. So give them that. Give the newcomer that. Let them know. Be as honest as you can be. It's all right. It's all right. Most of the early members of AA would have been thrown out because they slipped too much, because their morals were too bad, because they had mental as well as alcoholic difficulties, or believe it or not, because they did not come from the so-called better classes of society. We Ulsters could have been excluded for our failure to read the book Alcoholics Anonymous, or the refusal of our sponsor to vouch for us as a candidate, and so ad infinitum. The way our worthy alcoholics have sometimes tried to judge the less worthy is, as we look back on it, rather comical. Imagine, if you can, one alcoholic judging another. I'm going to go back here a little bit, okay? Because what is sponsorship? See, in the sense that they just talked about, a sponsor is somebody who vouches for another member. Okay? Kind of like a golf club. Same thing. You get sponsored. All right. At one time or another, most AA groups go on a rule making benders. Naturally enough, too, as a group commences to grow rapidly, it is confronted with many alarming problems. Panhandlers begin to panhandle. Members get drunk and sometimes get others drunk with them. Those with mental difficulties throw depression or break out into paranoid denunciations of fellow members. Gossip, and righteously denounce the local wolves in the Red Riding Hoods. Newcomers argue that they aren't alcoholic at all, but keep coming around anyway. Slippers trade on their fair name of AA in order to get themselves jobs. Others refuse to accept all the 12 steps of recovery program. Still, some go further, saying that the God business is bunk and quite unnecessary. Under these conditions, our conservative program abiding members got scared. These appalling conditions must be controlled. They think, else AA will surely go to the rack of ruin. They view with alarm for the good of the movement. Isn't it nice to know that we didn't have to go through this? Okay, let's be grateful for our predecessors. Okay, we laugh at this. I'm laughing at it because it's a little ridiculous, isn't it? No, it's not. These people were truly scared, and rightfully so. This was their recovery. But we couldn't keep anybody out. Okay? That's not very altruistic, is it? All right. So, how do you do that? Rules and regulations, right? Nope. Nope. At this point, God enters in rules and regulations phase. Charters, bylaws, and membership rules are excitedly passed, and authority is granted committee to filter out undesirables and discipline the evildoers. The group elders, now clothed in authority, commence to get busy. Recalcitrants are cast into outer darkness. Respectable busybodies throw stones at the sinners. As for these so-called sinners, they insist. They either insist on staying around, or else they form a new group of their own. Or maybe they join a more congenial and less intolerant crowd in the neighborhood. The elders soon discover that the rules and regulations aren't working very well. Most attempts at enforcement generate such waves of dissension and intolerance in the group that this condition is presently recognized to be worse for the group life than the very worst that the worst ever did. We don't like being told what to do. Okay? I don't like being told what to do, especially when we come into recovery, because people are always telling us what to do. People are always wanting something from us. You remember that? So, see, we need to provide what was freely given to us. It is open to all. There's still a lot of reading here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm just going to read the last two paragraphs of it now, because that's usually where they put all the good stuff. The answer. All right. Of course, this is not a universal state of affairs to AA. Membership rules still exist. You know what? I'm going to have to read it all for it to make sense. So I'll read as fast as I can. But we're doing pretty good on time. So after time, fear, and intolerance subsided, the group survives unscathed. Everybody has learned a great deal. So it is that few of us are no longer afraid of what any newcomer can do to our AA reputations or effectiveness. Those who slip, those who panhandle, those who scandalize, those with mental twist, those who rebel at the program, those who trade on AA reputation, all such persons seldom harm an AA group for long. Some of these have become our most respected and best loved. Others, or some, have remained to try our patience sober nevertheless. Others have drifted away. We have begun to regard these ones as not as menaces, but rather as our teachers. They oblige us to cultivate patience, tolerance, and humility. We finally see that they are only that they are only people sicker than the rest of us. That we who condemn them are the Pharisees whose false righteousness does our group even deeper spiritual damage. Again, in other words, bottom is bottom. Bottom is bottom. There is no rock bottom. Your bottom is your bottom. It all evens out. It all equals out. Trust me. You may have had a homeless problem, but the person over here is going through mental problems. See, we all have our stuff. We all fit into this category somewhere. So just imagine, AA would have never ever made it on those rules, and we know why. Every older AA shudders when he remembers the names of persons he once condemned, people he confidently predicted would never sober up, persons he was sure ought to be thrown out of AA for good, of the movement. Now that some of these very same persons have been sober for years, and many and may be numbered among his best friends. The old timer thinks to himself, what if everybody had judged these people as I once did? What if AA slammed its door on their faces? Where would they be now? That is why we all judge the newcomer less and less. If alcohol is an uncontrollable problem to him and he wishes to do something about it, that is enough for us. We care not whether his case is severe or light, whether his morals are good or bad, whether he has other complications or not. Our AA door stands wide open, and if he passes through it and commences to do anything at all about his problems, he is considered a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. He joins on his own say-so. Nowadays, in most groups, he doesn't even have to admit he's an alcoholic. Not in open AA meeting. Okay, but if you go to a closed AA meeting, it's alcoholics only. So if you don't consider yourself an alcoholic, you cannot go to a closed AA meeting. Okay? That's the rule. So he may be thrown out of the what would they do? Sorry. He can join AA on the mere suspicion that he may be one that he may already show the fatal symptoms of our malady. Of course, this is not the universal state of affairs throughout AA. Membership rules still exist. If a member persists in coming to meetings drunk, he may be let outside. We may ask someone to take him away, but in most groups, he can come back next day if sober, though he may be thrown out of the club. Nobody thinks of throwing him out of AA. I'm going to hold that right there, okay? So there are AA clubs, okay? So AA clubs are not AA. They're called AA clubs so you know what they are. That's it. It's just a word. Those clubs charge rent to the meetings. This person can be removed from the club, but if he wants to attend a meeting, he is allowed to. Okay? Yes, I've seen people get 86 from clubs. Okay? But those were extreme cases. You know, DV kind of stuff. Things where we have to follow the law. Okay? He is a member as long as he says he is. While this broad concept of AA membership is not yet unanimous, it does represent the main current of AA thought today. We do not wish to deny anyone his chance of recovery from alcoholism. We wish to be just as inclusive as we can, never exclusive. The last paragraph, and it's short. Perhaps this trend signifies something much deeper than a mere change of attitude on the questions of membership. Perhaps it means that we are losing all fear of those violent emotional storms which sometimes cross our alcoholic world. Perhaps it bespeaks of our confidence that every storm will be followed by a calm which is more understanding, more compassionate, more tolerant than any we ever knew before. So, this is what I do when I'm losing patience with people in the rooms. Because I go through it. Sure, I do. Right? I shut up and listen. Ah! Because they may say something I need to fucking hear. Right? Get your own emotions out of the way. Okay? And remember, but for the grace of God, go I. Remember that at all times. But for the grace of God, that could be you in a matter of 5 seconds. If the right trigger came along, right? Okay. So let's understand that maybe we might have some awareness that that person doesn't have yet. All right. Who am I to judge anyone? When I first entered the fellowship, I found that I liked everyone. Ooh. See, I loved everyone. I didn't like everybody. See, that's the difference. Now, I can love everybody, but if I have a resentment or I am really getting a person in my mind and letting them live rent free, I start to think of things that I like about them. It's a trick with my EMDR that I use, and it works very, very well. I'm doing it right now. After all, AA was going to help me to a better way of life without alcohol and without asking anything in return. Actually, it's not true. You are giving something. You're giving up your old life. So it's a pretty good trade. Okay. If you know anything about the barter system, you know you're going to win in this situation. Okay. The reality was that I couldn't possibly like everyone, nor they me. Okay. And no, but that doesn't mean that we can't show some respect. There's people in meetings that I know don't like me. We get along. So we still joke around. We're not going to go to coffee together, but it isn't about our personalities. See, that means that we can get along. That person can be my fellow brother, and I don't have to think anything. I can still love them. And I'll tell you what, even these people say things I need to hear all the time. All the time. God will speak through somebody you hate. So stop hating. There is no really reason to hate. There isn't. Okay. As I've grown in the fellowship, I've learned to love everyone just from listening to what they have to say. That person over there or that one right there, he may be the one God has chosen to give me the message I need today. I must always remember to place principles above personalities. I'll let you know I didn't read forward in that. So, just that AA works a certain way. So, um, so principles, not personalities, and sometimes it can be tough. So if you're in a situation where you feel like even though even though you need to do something that's based on a personality, talk to your sponsor, maybe reach out to a couple other people and see if you can't get a different view on it. Okay? Because sometimes when we get a different view, then our actions are going to change a little bit. And let's remember just how sick we were when we came in the program. I don't have any right to judge anybody after the shit I've done. Okay? My home group, Bill's Brown Baggers at Primary Purpose Club, let me come back in 22 times in 2 years. They were patient with me. So I've got to give that back. I've got to give that back. Maybe I should go down there tomorrow, go to a meeting. All right. Thank you, everyone. That was a good read. I enjoyed that. It was neat to remind ourselves that it doesn't matter who's in the room; they belong there, and for a reason. God put them there. God put them there for a reason. So, all right, Ingrid always knows when I'm wrapping up. It's a certain tone in my voice. I've been speaking a long time, right? So, yep, right on. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This was fun. I appreciate it. I love you. I do. Love you. Peace out and have a day.